When I was 22, I made one decision that cost me $50,000. Not slowly, not over years. I watched it disappear in a matter of weeks. And the worst part? It was completely my fault. I've never told this story before, not to my friends, not to my family. But if you're trying to build your life, your career, your money, you need to hear this. Because losing that money taught me something that most people learn way too late or never learn at all. Let me take you back. I was 21, maybe 22, and I thought I had everything figured out. I had a decent job. I was saving money. I was doing what everyone says you're supposed to do. And then I started seeing something online. People my age making insane returns from investing. Screenshots of portfolios doubling, tripling, overnight. And I thought, why not me? I'm smart. I can read charts. I can do research. How hard can it be? So I started small. A few hundred here, 1,000 there. And honestly, at first, it worked. I made some money. Not life-changing money, but enough to feel like a genius. And that's exactly when everything started going wrong. Because when you win early, your brain does something dangerous. It convinces you that you're special, that you've figured something out other people haven't, that the rules don't apply to you. So I went bigger, way bigger. I took everything I had saved, 2 years of working, grinding, saying no to things I wanted, and I put it all in, $50,000, into something I barely understood. The first few days were fine. Actually, more than fine. I was checking my phone every 10 minutes, watching the numbers go up. At night, I'd lie in bed calculating how much money I'd have by the end of the month. I was already planning my future. A better apartment, a luxurious car, freedom. Then one morning I woke up and something felt off. I opened the app, down 15%. Overnight. My stomach dropped, but I told myself it was fine. Everyone online was saying the same thing. Don't panic, just hold. This is normal. So I held, and it kept dropping. 20%, 30, 40. I stopped sleeping properly. I stopped eating properly. I was checking my phone in the middle of the night, in the bathroom, during conversations with friends. I was physically there, but mentally, I was somewhere else entirely, watching my future disappear in real time. And then one morning I opened the app, and it was almost all gone. $50,000, reduced to almost nothing. I sat on the edge of my bed and just stared at the wall. For maybe an hour, I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just felt empty, like someone had pulled the plug on everything inside me. The next few months were the worst of my life, and not because of the money. Although that hurt, it was the shame. I couldn't tell anyone. My parents thought I was doing great. My friends thought I had everything together, and I was walking around with this secret that was eating me alive. I started avoiding people, canceling plans, making excuses, because every time someone talked about the future, their savings, their plans, their goals, I just wanted to disappear. I remember one night sitting at dinner with my family. My mom asked me how things were going, and I smiled and said, "Great. Everything's great." And something inside me just broke a little because I realized I wasn't just losing money. I was losing myself, the person who always had a plan, the person who was supposed to make it. That person was gone, and I didn't know how to get him back. I felt like the dumbest person in every room. And the worst part? I kept seeing people online who had done the exact same thing as me. But they got out in time. They sold at the top. They were smart. And I wasn't. At least that's what I kept telling myself. Over and over. You're stupid. You deserve this. Everyone else figured it out except you. I was 22 years old, and I genuinely believed my life was already ruined. I don't remember the exact moment things started to change. There was no dramatic realization, no motivational video, no wise mentor. Honestly, I just got tired. Tired of hating myself. Tired of replaying the same mistake over and over. Tired of being stuck. And one day I asked myself a simple question. Okay, it's gone. Now what? Not how do I get it back? Not whose fault is this? Just now what? And that question changed everything. Because it forced me to stop looking backward and start looking at what I actually had. Which wasn't nothing. I had a job. I had skills. I had time. I was 22, not 72. So I made 3 rules for myself. Rules I wish someone had forced me to follow when I was 22. Rule number 1, learn before you earn. For 6 months, I stopped chasing quick money. I studied, not charts, not trends, actual financial literacy, how money works, how investing works, what risk actually means. The boring stuff nobody posts about online because it doesn't get likes. Rule number 2, Never invest money you can't afford to lose. Sounds obvious, but when you're young and you see opportunity, obvious disappears. So I started putting aside 10% of everything I earned, not into exciting investments, into the safest, most boring place I could find, and I didn't touch it. Rule number 3. Stop comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. Those people posting wins online, they're not showing the losses. They're not showing the sleepless nights. They're showing the highlight reel, and you're comparing it to your behind the scenes. I followed those 3 rules for 2 years, and slowly, very slowly, things started to change. I'm 25 now, and I'm not going to pretend everything is perfect. It's not. I still think about those $50,000 sometimes. I still feel a sting when I calculate what that money would be worth today. But here's what I can tell you. I built it back. Not just the money. Actually, I've made back more than 3 times what I lost. But that's not the important part. The important part is what I built along the way. I built trust in myself. I built the knowledge to never make that mistake again. And I built real discipline. Not the fake kind that comes from motivation. The kind that comes from patience. The kind that ignores the noise. The kind that understands that slow progress is still progress. If you're watching this and you've lost something, money, time, an opportunity, a relationship, I want you to hear this. It is not the end. It feels like the end. I know. Trust me, I know. But it's not. The money I lost taught me more than any course, book, or degree ever could. It taught me that the market doesn't care about your feelings. It taught me that confidence without knowledge is just arrogance. And it taught me that the worst financial decisions are emotional ones. But most importantly, it taught me something simple. You can come back from almost anything, not by pretending it didn't happen, not by forcing positivity, but by looking at what happened honestly, learning from it, and building something better. You lost something. Okay, now what? Because honestly, that's the only question that really matters. And that's what this channel is about, being honest about the hard things and figuring out what comes next. If this story helped you think about your own mistakes a little differently, maybe you'll want to stick around. We've got a lot more things to figure out.